The story begins in a small, sleepy village named Darval. It's nestled between mist-covered hills and surrounded by dense, ancient woods. Despite its picturesque beauty, the village is steeped in deeply rooted traditions and an unspoken hierarchy. The village is quiet, with an air of suspicion and judgment that clings to its inhabitants like the morning mist. Life is slow, and change is unwelcome. Zara is a young woman in her late 20s, living on the outskirts of the village. She's the healer, trained by her late grandmother, who was both revered and feared for her knowledge of herbs and ancient practices. The villagers view Zara as an outsider, tolerating her only for her usefulness. Zara struggles with loneliness and self-doubt. Though skilled and compassionate, she's haunted by the villagers' whispers and the weight of her grandmother's legacy. She wonders if her life is destined to be one of isolation. Zara tends to her garden of medicinal plants. The meticulous care she gives to her work reflects her inner desire to nurture and connect, even as she feels disconnected from the people around her. A widower and blacksmith who quietly support Zara. He occasionally brings her supplies and defends her in subtle ways. There's a gentle but unspoken bond between them. Amir understands Zara's pain, but struggles with his own grief and inability to fully bridge the gap between them. Amir wants to protect Zara, but fears the social consequences of openly aligning with her. A young girl who idolizes Zara and sneaks away to watch her work. Fatima represents innocence and hope. She sees Zara's strength and kindness, offering moments of lightness in the story. Fatima dreams of learning from Zara and escaping the narrow life the village prescribes for women. A stern elder and leader of the village council, who embodies the village's resistance to change. Safiya is wary of Zara's knowledge, seeing it as both a threat to tradition and a necessary evil. Safiya wants to maintain the status quo, believing it's the only way to protect the village from external dangers. A young boy from the village, Arif, falls gravely ill. None of the traditional remedies work, and the villagers reluctantly turn to Zara for help. This moment sets the stage for Zara's growing involvement in the community, despite their reluctance to accept her fully. While tending to Arif, Zara feels the weight of both expectation and disdain. Her success could earn her some respect, but failure would deepen the villagers' mistrust. Show her tending to her garden and reflecting on her place in the village. Establish their relationships and Zara's isolation. The elders discuss Arif's illness and reluctantly agree to seek Zara's help. A quiet, tense scene that reveals Zara's skill and the villagers' complex feelings toward her. Zara diligently cares for Arif, using her grandmother's remedies. Her treatment is successful, but her methods stir unease among the villagers. While the villagers thank Zara, Safiya reminds her that this doesn't change her status. Safiya warns Zara to stay within her bounds and avoid meddling in village traditions. Zara struggles with conflicting emotions, relief at saving Arif, frustration at the villagers' ingratitude, and a yearning for acceptance. Amir visits Zara under the pretense of delivering supplies but stays to share a meal. This interaction reveals Amir's quiet admiration for Zara and his understanding of her struggles. Amir shares a story about his late wife, subtly paralleling Zara's isolation. Zara opens up about her grandmother's teachings, explaining how her knowledge often feels like both a gift and a curse. Fatima secretly visits Zara's home to watch her work. Zara initially hesitates, but eventually allows Fatima to assist with simple tasks, seeing the girl's genuine interest. Fatima's visits spark concern among her family, who fear Zara's influence. This tension highlights the generational divide in the village. Fatima represents a future open to change, while her family clings to tradition. The village holds its annual harvest festival, a time of celebration and tradition. Zara attends reluctantly, urged by Fatima. Zara's presence draws mixed reactions. Some villagers avoid her, while others cautiously approach to thank her for saving Arif. Safiya publicly questions Zara's methods, accusing her of disrespecting the village's customs. Amir defends Zara, but his words create a rift between him and the village elders. After the festival, Zara reflects on her role in the village. She questions whether she can ever truly belong, or if her efforts to help will always be met with suspicion. Zara tends to a dying plant in her garden, a metaphor for her struggle to nurture life in a hostile environment, gains small moments of validation, saving Arif, bonding with Fatima and Amir, continues to wrestle with self-doubt and the villagers' judgment, becomes more vocal in his support of Zara, risking his position in the village, reveals his own struggles with grief and isolation, paralleling Zara's journey, emerges as a symbol of hope and change, drawn to Zara's knowledge and independence, faces her own conflicts with her family over her growing bond with Zara, represents the resistance to change, increasingly threatened by Zara's influence, begins to see Zara as a direct challenge to her authority. Amir approaches Zara with a proposition: to work together in modernizing village agriculture, using Zara's knowledge of herbs and remedies for pest control. While intrigued, Zara fears further alienation from the villagers. Amir reassures Zara, revealing his vision of a future where tradition and innovation coexist. Zara reveals her own dream, a village where knowledge isn't feared but embraced. Fatima's family discovers her continued visits to Zara and forbids her from leaving the house. Fatima sneaks out one evening, seeking solace and guidance from Zara. Their conversation becomes a pivotal moment of connection. Zara gives Fatima a small gift, a journal to document her thoughts and dreams, a gesture of hope and encouragement. Elder Sophia and other leaders call a meeting, accusing Zara of dividing the village and corrupting its youth, especially Fatima. Amir steps forward, defending Zara and challenging the elders' authority, but his support intensifies the village's hostility. Zara quietly listens, torn between fighting for her place or walking away to preserve the fragile peace. Amir and Zara share an intimate moment where both reflect on the choices that brought them to this village. Amir speaks of his regrets, his late wife's dreams unfulfilled, his own fear of change. Zara questions if her presence is truly helping or harming the community. Zara realizes that her struggle isn't just about acceptance, it's about self-worth and the courage to stay true to her values. Inspired by Zara, Fatima boldly speaks out at a community event, defending Zara and urging the villagers to embrace change. Fatima's act causes a stir. While some villagers begin to reconsider their stance, others grow even more resistant. After witnessing Fatima's courage and Amir's unwavering support, Zara resolves to stay and continue her work. Zara plants a sapling in her garden, a representation of hope and renewal. Zara sits in her small garden under the moonlight, journaling her thoughts. Zara reflects on her life's choices, questioning if her fight to stay in the village is worth the constant resistance. She recalls painful childhood memories of rejection and feels the weight of those scars in her current struggles. Zara recognizes that her journey isn't just about the villagers' acceptance, but about proving to herself that she is enough. Amir walks through the fields, haunted by memories of his late wife. He reflects on how his grief has shaped his fear of moving forward and his hesitation to fully commit to supporting Zara. Amir realizes that standing by Zara isn't just about helping her. It's about reclaiming his own purpose and belief in the future. Fatima is scolded by her family after her public defense of Zara. Torn between loyalty to her family and her admiration for Zara, Fatima feels trapped. She secretly reads the journal Zara gave her, finding strength in the idea that her voice matters. Fatima writes her first entry, expressing her dreams for a better, more open-minded village. Zara encounters Elder Sophia at the marketplace. The two exchange words, with Sophia revealing her deeper fears. Change means losing control, and Zara represents a future she doesn't understand. Zara responds with quiet determination, assuring Sophia that change doesn't erase tradition, it strengthens it. Both women leave the conversation changed, though Sophia remains guarded. A fierce storm hits the village, damaging crops and homes. Zara offers her expertise to help salvage the situation, but many villagers hesitate, still mistrusting her. Amir steps in, rallying the community to trust Zara's knowledge. Zara's remedies save a large portion of the crops, and even skeptics begin to see her value. After the storm, Zara stands in her garden, surveying the damage, but also noticing new growth. She feels a quiet sense of accomplishment, not because she's been fully accepted, but because she stayed true to herself. Zara decides to continue her work, not for the villagers' approval, but for the belief that her efforts matter. The village's communal hall is filled with villagers debating Zara's role in their community. Several elders and villagers argue that Zara's ways threaten their traditions, but Amir and Fatima defend her contributions. Zara listens silently at first, but eventually stands to speak. Zara delivers a heartfelt speech about the balance between honoring traditions and embracing progress. She shares her journey of finding peace within herself, acknowledging that she doesn't seek validation, but believes her work matters. Fatima visits Zara late at night, seeking guidance after the assembly. Fatima struggles with her family's disapproval and her longing to break free from their expectations. Zara encourages her to trust her instincts, sharing the wisdom she's gained from her own battles. Fatima realizes she doesn't need permission to dream and decides to take steps toward becoming a teacher for village girls. Amir sits alone in his late wife's favorite spot, a quiet grove near the fields. He reflects on his grief and how it has held him back from fully living. He acknowledges the strength Zara has shown and decides to fully support her efforts, not just as an ally, but as a friend and mentor. Amir lays flowers at the grove, finally letting go of his guilt and embracing the idea of moving forward. Safiya walks through the village, observing the subtle changes Zara has brought. She feels torn between her fear of losing control and the undeniable benefits of Zara's methods. Safiya recalls moments from her own past when she had to fight for her place as a young woman. In a small yet significant gesture, Safiya places a bowl of traditional herbs at Zara's doorstep, signaling her tentative approval. Zara tends to her garden, which has begun to flourish again after the storm. She reflects on her journey, the resistance she faced, and the inner growth she's experienced. Zara feels a mixture of exhaustion and quiet pride, knowing she has stayed true to herself. The garden, with its mix of old herbs and new flowers, becomes a symbol of Zara's belief in balance and growth. The village awakens to subtle yet noticeable changes. Children playing near the communal herb garden, Fatima teaching a group of girls in the shade, and villagers consulting Zara for remedies. The herb garden becomes a shared space, symbolizing the blending of Zara's ideas with traditional practices. Amir is seen helping children plant seeds, signaling his complete acceptance of Zara's vision. Zara and Fatima sit together by the stream, watching the sunset. Fatima shares her small victories in teaching, and Zara reflects on her own journey, expressing gratitude for the support she never expected but received in the end. They discuss the future, with Fatima eager to do more and Zara cautiously optimistic. Zara finds Elder Safiya waiting outside her home. Safiya offers a quiet apology for her earlier resistance, acknowledging Zara's contribution to the village's survival during the storm. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Safiya admits that Zara reminds her of her younger self, sparking a mutual respect. Amir and Zara walk through the village at night, their path lit by lanterns. Amir thanks Zara for teaching him how to hope again, while Zara expresses her gratitude for his steadfast support. They share a moment of quiet understanding, their bond strengthened by shared struggles and victories. Zara sits alone in her garden under the moonlight, journaling her thoughts. She reflects on her transformation, from an outcast mocked by the village to someone who has found her place, not through approval, but by staying true to herself. The garden around her is alive and thriving, a reflection of her inner peace and growth. Zara prepares a basket of herbs and remedies to leave at the village shrine as an offering of gratitude. As she walks through the village, she sees glimpses of her impact: children learning, families thriving, and a sense of quiet harmony. Zara pauses at the shrine, offering a silent prayer for the village's continued growth before walking away, leaving the story open for interpretation.